Bro, when I get back outside and traveling, I know that seems dramatic. I go outside. But you know what I mean? When I get back to traveling, bro, this is definitely Japan. It's definitely on my destination list. Dubai, Japan, and a few other places, man, I gotta get to. You know what I mean? But I know y'all like some of y'all who've been rocking with me. How you gonna get there, L? I'm working on the whole getting on a plane thing. I know I am. But anyway, this video here, man, is the 15 things that can't be seen anywhere but Japan. Anywhere. So let's check it out.
There's no doubt that Japan is one of the most well-known countries in the world, and for good reason. Aside from the fact that millions around the world support anime, Japan's claim to fame is its culture, food, and of course, all of the natural tourist destinations the country could offer. As a tourist, Japan, or Nihon, can offer you a lot of unique experiences that you can only experience in the land of the rising sun. So if you're interested in this country, let me show you some of the most interesting and unique things it has to offer. From public baths to the introvert foodie's paradise, Ichiran Ramen, here are 15 things that can't be seen anywhere but in Japan.
I know that ramen tastes way better than the ramen packs I got in my house.
Number 15. Public baths. Are you comfortable bathing with strangers? I know, it's a weird question to ask, but if you've seen any anime or Japanese drama, then you might—
Not knocking how some people get down, you know what I mean? I'm not knocking that, but for me, nah.
already know that in Japan, public bathhouses are a thing, and this might give you a little bit of a culture shock. Public baths are called sento in Japan, and it has a very long history. They originated in the 6th century, but they skyrocketed in popularity during the Edo period from 1603 to 1868. Typically, people not only go to bathhouses just to clean themselves, but also to relax. I think we all know how a good soak can wash away the fatigue of the day, especially after a particularly stressful day at work. There are some things you should remember if you want to visit one of these establishments. Most of the bathhouses allow people with tattoos, but some don't. Also, the baths are separated based on gender. But of course, since it's a public bathhouse, there will also be people around you.
Now, I've heard, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, because y'all may know, I've heard the whole tattoo thing when it comes to places like that. They look at you if you have like tattoos and stuff like you crazy or something like that. That's what I'm hearing now. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm hearing. They look at you like you're kind of crazy if you have tattoos. So when I heard that, that instantly popped in my head.
On gender. But of course, since it's a public bathhouse, there will also be people around you. You might feel awkward and self-conscious at first, but trust me, bathing in a sento or a hot spring bath is the perfect way to de-stress. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now. Number 14. Cat cafes. Here is the perfect cafe for you, especially if you're a cat lover. Even if you're more of a dog person, you'll definitely still have a fun time in Japan's many cat cafes. What's so special about them? Well, aside from the fact that their interior is adorable, they're also filled with cute cats that patrons can play with. These cats roam freely around the establishment, and you can pet them or watch them play or sleep while you sip some coffee and eat some cake. The very first cat—
Or laugh, because y'all know cats be funny.
Watch them play or sleep while you sip some coffee and eat some cake. The very first cat cafe in Japan opened its doors in Osaka in 2004. Today, there are over 150 cat cafes in Japan, and Tokyo, which is Japan's capital and its most populated city, has over 39 of them. There's actually a reason why there are so many cat cafes in Tokyo alone. Aside from the expensive rent, most apartments in Tokyo have strict rules which sadly include prohibiting pets. Most people that want to see some cats visit cat cafes instead. Cat cafes in Japan aren't your typical Starbucks, and you might find that the coffee prices are a little bit more expensive. You're practically paying more for the experience than the coffee, so it's understandable. And unlike your usual cafe—
That's like the movies, you know what I mean? You know, when you go to the movies, you about to spin the grip.
Cat cafes usually advertise a more comfortable and cozy vibe, so you're expected to take off your shoes upon entering the establishment. And of course, be prepared to have some cat fur on your clothes. Number 13. Koi fish in the draining canal. Tell me, Where else in the world can you see koi fish living in the draining canal? Most likely nowhere else but in this one city in Japan. I mean, in most cities in the world, the last thing you'd expect where fish would live is the drainage canal. Come on, let's be honest. You know how filthy they can get. And yet, in the city of Shimabara on Japan's Kyushu Island, the gutters are so clean that you can see colorful koi fish swimming by.
Wow.
And no, it's not just one or two of them. Hundreds of them treat the canals as their home. So are these amazing fish placed in the canal by the residents? Yes, but there's also another reason. The residents didn't arbitrarily decide to place fish in the water. In 1792, an earthquake and tsunami hit the city. It claimed over 10,000 people, but it left behind an abundance of freshwater springs. As a result, clean water flows freely through the city's canals. It's quite astounding because koi fish are creatures that need an extremely high quality of water for survival. Seeing these colorful carp thrive in this strange environment proves that the water here is very clean. Because of this unique attraction, Shimabara is now known as the city of swimming carp.
Wow.
Number 12. Blue traffic lights? There are
Okay, so that lets me know I got no business driving over there. Blue traffic lights would probably mess me up. I got no business driving there.
carp. Number 12. Blue traffic lights? There are traffic lights in almost every country in the world. And just like many things, traffic lights have a universal meaning. Red means stop, orange or yellow means caution, and finally, green means go.
So what is
But
blue?
did you know that in Japan, traffic light signals are blue? To understand why this is the case, we need to know a little about the Japanese language. Today, the word eo means blue, while the word midori means green. However, in Old Japanese, there are no separate terms for blue and green, and the word eo was used for both colors. Kinda confusing, I know. Originally, Japan used the green color in their traffic lights, but they still used the term eo for it, which again means blue rather than midori. And so Japanese linguists stepped in and objected to their government's decision to continue using the wrong term for the wrong color. Finally, in 1973, the government compromised, and instead of changing the word used to address the color, they just made the traffic lights blue instead. Well, technically, they just mandated that the bluest shade of green be used. That's why as you travel in Japan, you might encounter the mythical bluish traffic lights.
I wonder how many people was paying attention that day and got the memo. Wonder how many accidents they had that day.
It might take a little bit of time before you can get used to it.
Right.
But honestly, it's not really so different from the usual green-yellow-red combo. Number 11. Square watermelons. If you play Minecraft or you just like to try out unique food in general, then you might want to check out the square watermelons of Japan. You might wander around the supermarket, and as you pass by the produce section, you'll see these cube watermelons in a much fancier display than others. They might look weird, but they're very common in Japan. If you want to get your hands on one of these, you might have second thoughts after hearing the price. They're on the pricier side, and square watermelons are definitely not one of the things people will buy on a whim. Ready for the price reveal? Their prices start from $100, and they can go up from there. What makes these watermelons special? Well, aside
For a watermelon, bro, and I've eaten a lot of watermelon in my time. You know, I know that was like a stereotype, like crazy, but anyway, fam, $100? That's insane.
from their size, nothing else. They taste like normal watermelon,
Yo.
but I guess you'd have less difficulty cutting cubed ones because of their shape. Number 10. Capsule hotels. Would you be interested in staying in one of these? If you're claustrophobic, probably not. Capsule hotels are definitely unique lodging spaces. Just as the name suggests, they're compact, small, but still pretty cozy. They're the #1 option for people that are on a budget, but many tourists also book capsule hotels just for the experience. Inside one capsule, you get a mattress, a blanket, a pillow, and some space to store your belongings in. And you'll also have a controllable nightlight. You can also typically buy a shower card if you want to take a bath. Compared to other hotels, a capsule hotel is the best choice for those looking for affordable single-night accommodation. One night typically costs around 3,000 to 4,000 yen, which roughly amounts to about $30. But if you want a premium experience, some high-end capsule hotels also offer better accommodations for an additional price.
If any of y'all ever been a truck driver or currently truck drivers, then you can relate to this, bro. It's just like the cab in the back. You ain't got much space. You get up in there, you sleep, you do what you're supposed to do, you sleep, you wake up, then you go inside like a Love's or something like that. When it was talking about the shower, get a shower car. You go inside a truck stop and shower and stuff like that. So I've been a truck driver. This wouldn't be no issue for me.
Number 9. Wine, coffee, and green tea bath. How would you like to bathe in green tea, wine, or coffee? Why do you need to relax while soaking in warm water when you can easily have a relaxing tea bath? This is the exotic spa called the Unison Spa Resort in Japan. The liquids here may be a bit unorthodox, but hey, you only live once, right? It's time to live like royalty and bathe in wine. It's not just about being lavish. There are actually some claims that bathing in wine will rejuvenate the entire body, and one of the most notable figures to do this is the Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra. In Unison, you can drink wine while bathing in wine.
Now, I don't know about that. Y'all had me with the whole bathing in wine, rejuvenate, and everything like that. I was about to go tell Queen about that, but drinking it while you're in it, yeah, I'd be throwing up in it. I'm sorry.
And if you want to remove some blemishes, sake is the way to go. If you want to boost your immune system, then a green tea bath will do the trick. Going inside the Unison Spa Resort can be a pretty magical experience. Are you one of the people that can't start their day without coffee? Well, in Unison, you can start your day with a blast of your caffeine by literally immersing yourself in it. One of the spas offers its visitors to bathe with coffee brewed with water from the natural hot springs of Hakone. You don't have to worry because fresh batches are added to the spring daily.
Why have nobody ever told me about that? Green tea baths, coffee baths, wine baths have different ways to help your health. Hey, man, if y'all have tried it and can confirm, please put it in the comment section. Let me know. I need to know.
Number 8. Bullet trains.
Whoa.
Shinkansen, or bullet trains, are the fastest and the most convenient method of traveling. It might be a bit confusing though, so if you're bad with directions, it'd be best to research your route ahead of time. Thankfully, despite the very extensive railway network, there are signs and maps everywhere to guide you. The most popular and oldest line is the Tokaido Shinkansen, which runs through Tokyo, Nagoya, Kyoto, and Osaka. The bullet train of Japan is considered to be a technological marvel. Shinkansen are operated by Japan Railways. These trains run up to 320 kilometers per hour, and they're known for punctuality. You know the stereotype about Japanese people, especially those who are working. They value their time, and 1 minute is already a big deal. To date, the Shinkansen is an efficient, fast, comfortable, and safe method of traveling. In fact, there have been no fatal accidents in its history. Recently, Japan started testing the next generation of bullet trains, known as the Alpha X, that can reach speeds of a whopping 400 kilometers per hour. Although, for safety reasons, the speed limit they would mandate upon service is only around 360 kilometers per hour. Aside from its efficiency, riding the bullet train also lets you get a glimpse of Japan's landscape. Number 7. Fancy toilet. One of our main concerns when visiting a different place is the restroom. Are they clean? Are they accessible? It's common knowledge that Japan has a reputation for having clean establishments and clean public restrooms.
Nice.
Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that's not all. Some Japanese
I feel like every time you go to the bathroom, it should be an experience anyway. You know what I mean?
toilets are actually pretty fancy. Aside from the fact that they're well maintained, they offer some unique features that your ordinary toilet doesn't have.
Shower?
These fancy futuristic toilets have a built-in bidet that you can control. It has a front and back stream depending on what business you have, if you know what I mean. This means you can clean yourself without needing to stand up. You don't have to worry about freezing toilet seats either because these fancy toilets have heated seats.
Oh, I'm sold. Ain't nothing worse than having to sit down and ease down on a cold toilet seat, man. That's the worst. I need those. I need that.
During the hotter months, some toilets also have an air-conditioned toilet rim. And that's not all. They also have air deodorizers built in. And the fancier ones have a speaker if you want to jam while using the toilet. And there are even glow-in-the-dark options. It can be quite confusing to see the control panel though. For many of us, the drawings don't make any sense. But the longer you stay in Japan, the more you'll like using these innovative toilets. Number 6. Kawaii culture. If you're an anime fan, chances are you already know what the term kawaii means. In Japan, the kawaii culture is literally the culture of cuteness. The term can refer to almost anything, to a person, an item, or anything that's cute and sweet. In Japan, kawaii culture can be seen in almost everything, including clothing. I guess this explains the number of cute mascots they have. Have you seen how many Pikachus they have on the streets? Number 5. Vending machines galore. If we're talking about vending machines, Japan is the #1 contender for having the weirdest, and also the most awesome ones. In most countries, vending machines only offer you a limited brand of drinks, but in Japan, you can get pretty much almost anything from vending machines. You can get ramen, ice cream, toys, crepes, cakes, and even popcorn. How cool is that? The older vending machines usually accept cash payments in 10, 50, 100, and 500 yen coins. But for the newer vending machines, having no coins is not a problem because they can scan your card. These machines can drop you a hot meal in less than a minute. If you look around, you can also spot ones that drop some onigiri, spaghetti, french fries, and even a face mask. You're probably wondering, is the food clean though? The answer? Yes. You know how Japanese people are when it comes to cleanliness. The food almost always has an expiration date printed on its packaging, so you know that it's still good to eat. Number 4. Rent-a-girlfriend.
Whoa.
Among the wonders of Japan is the rent-a-girlfriend service. Yes, you heard that right.
Whoa.
Japan has a service where people can rent a girlfriend for a price. There are a lot of companies that offer this service, and most of them have websites on the internet where you can browse which girl you want to avail the services of. It might sound absurd, but it's actually a pretty serious industry, and there are a lot of requirements for someone to be an employee for a rent-a-girlfriend company. Of course, women with boyfriends are not allowed to apply unless they have their boyfriend's permission. They also prefer women who are more aesthetically pleasing, if you know what I mean. And they also prefer women who are great at making conversation. I know that it sounds bizarre, but rental services just like this one are actually becoming increasingly popular in Japan. More and more tourists are also looking forward to trying it as well. In fact, this isn't the only rental service you can have in Japan. You can also rent a boyfriend, a friend, or even a family member.
So is that like the same thing as like an escort service? Like, I think rental is just another name for escort, right? Am I wrong?
Prices are different, but usually companies will price 6,000 yen per hour for a minimum of 2 hours. That's almost $100. First-timers can usually pick who they want to take out for free, but after that they would need to pay an additional cost of about 2,000 yen, or about 15 bucks to choose the one they want to take out. Number 3. Lack of trash cans. Japan is known for its safety and cleanliness. In fact, Tokyo has been listed as one of the safest cities to live in 2021. The list of safest cities is measured by using various indicators, including personal safety, healthy security, infrastructure security, and more. Overall, Tokyo is one of the most ideal cities to live in, if you have enough to get by with a high rent, that is. But if you walk around this bustling city, you'll probably notice something. The whole area might be clean, but you'll barely see enough trash cans. In most places, you'll pass by several trash bins while walking around the streets or in the park. But Japan is a little different. If you go here, you might run out of patience if you keep trying to search for a trash bin. You might think it's odd considering how much Japan prides its clean streets. But there's actually a good reason why they reduced public trash bins. Ultimately, they reduced trash bins because of tragic incidents. This includes the Tokyo subway sarin gas attack that happened in 1995. On March 20th, 1995, the members of a cult released incredibly lethal sarin gas inside the trains. They did it during the early morning, right when it was rush hour. Because of the attack, 6,300 people were injured or lost their lives. The gas canisters that were used were wrapped in plastic bags and covered by newspapers. 3 major subways were targeted at the time, which caused massive damage. Because of the incident, people have been warned not to leave anything suspicious in public spaces.
See, that's what makes me nervous about public transportation spots. You know what I mean? Because they're targeted. Because it's so many people there, man. That stuff makes you nervous.
That's why it's best to just keep your trash in your bag until you come to a public trash can. Number 2. KFC for Christmas. Some people celebrate Christmas, while some don't. And celebrations vary across the world. In the United States, for example, eating a stuffed turkey with potatoes and maybe some apple pie or eggnog for dessert is the way to go. Many would say that homemade food is the best, and it should be preferred over takeout during the holidays. But Japan is a bit different. People in Japan follow a long tradition of getting KFC for Christmas. I know it's fast food, but hey, you gotta admit that their fried chicken is pretty great. But why exactly do Japanese people prefer KFC? In fact, they prefer it so much that an estimated 3.6 million Japanese families buy fried chicken from the American fast food chain. The story goes that the manager of the very first KFC in the country, Takeshi Okawara, thought that they should sell a party barrel on Christmas Day. He got the idea after overhearing some foreigners talk about how they missed having turkey for Christmas. And so he thought that maybe having a Christmas chicken can be a decent substitute for turkey. And so the marketing began. And it worked. It clicked with the public, and to this day it's considered a national tradition. Unlike your usual KFC takeout though, a Christmas barrel is a bit more special. Aside from the usual chicken and sides, the meals include cake and wine. Pretty fancy, right? This phenomena of buying a specific brand of takeout is unique to Japan, and I would bet that you've never heard of this anywhere else in the world.
Bro, my stomach is growling right now. Do you hear me? Oh, man, I'm hungry.
I do like turkey for Christmas, but who knows? I might give KFC a try for the holidays. And before we go to our last entry, make sure to comment your favorite Christmas food below. Number 1. Ichiran Ramen. Whenever people mention Japan, one of the number one things people think about is sushi, and of course ramen. Despite being popular mostly in Japan, people all around the world seem to like this food. And for good reason. Japanese ramen just always hits the spot. We all know the main foundation of good ramen is a great broth. Most Japanese restaurants prioritize making delicious and delectable soup. They can add many ingredients depending on the taste they're aiming for, like pork bones, shellfish, beef bones, fish, or even vegetables. Regardless of the variation though, they always make sure that the bowl is exploding with flavor. You're probably thinking, but I can still eat ramen anywhere else. So why is Ichiran Ramen so special? Well, here's the thing. If you're an introvert whose idea for a perfect dinner on the way back home after work is to dine alone without being judged, then the Ichiran Ramen restaurant will definitely be your paradise. You can slurp your food here in peace. I mean, in Japan, slurping isn't considered rude. You can eat and slurp the soup all you want. It's not disrespectful. On the contrary, it just means you're enjoying the food. In Ichiran, you can eat alone, and you're seated at a partitioned table. Anxious about ordering? You don't need to be. Unlike most restaurants, where the staff will stand beside you while you awkwardly browse the menu, here in Ichiran, you're given a pen and paper where you can customize the ramen according to your taste. Once you're done, a staff member will fetch your order and serve your food. While you're eating, they'll close the cover for maximum privacy. The best thing? You have free hot water right by your table. And most of the time they give you some green tea so you can make your own as a complimentary drink with your ramen. Delicious food and privacy? Count me in. So are we having a little bit of culture shock? Or not at all? Japan's pretty amazing, right? If you're one of the lucky tourists that has already visited Japan, we'd love to hear about your awesome experiences in the comments below.
Me too. But more than that, I want to know where here in the States can I get some good, like a good ramen restaurant where I can go and actually try ramen other than the ramen packs I got here at the house. I want to go somewhere and experience that. You know what I mean? Since I can't get to Japan right now. But, and I'm interested in those baths that can help your health. I'm interested in hearing more about that. Y'all, if y'all know, y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know. And stick around. I'm gone. Peace.